Hey guys, I'm here with a book review over The Dark We Know by Wen-Yi Lee. Before we get started, I do want to put out here that there will be spoilers, so if you have not read the book or you don't want spoilers, go read it and then come back. And then also content warning for the fact that this book does focus very heavily on suicide and suicidal ideation. So if those are topics that you don't want to hear about, those are topics that you don't want to read about, this book and this review are not for you. If you're a little hesitant and you want to know more, you can go to the author's website. I have it linked in the description, and I have it linked specifically to the content warnings page within the author's website so that you can take a look at all of the different things you might find within the text, which will probably be touched upon in this review because I'm reviewing the book and the content of the book. This novel is a young adult. It is a gothic horror, and it follows Isadora Chong. Though Issa lived in an abusive household, it's the death of her best friend that actually sends her away from Slater for the first time. That's where we pick up with her, and she returns back after the death of her father. Once she returns, she's informed by her friend Mason that he doesn't think any of these uptick in deaths that are happening within Slater are actually suicides. He believes something supernatural is involved, and this is what causes Issa to stay, because though she doesn't believe him at the beginning, there are strange things that are occurring, like her hearing voices on the wind and her sketching and drawing events and deaths before they happen. Issa's return home is really what propels us into this plot about reputation and the way that it can be suffocating and how shame will lead people to breaking points. At the center of these multitude of deaths is what becomes known within the novel as the Angel. It's a childhood story that exists within the town of Slater that was always believed to be kind of like myth or lore or legend, but the more that Issa and Mason dig, the more they realize not only is the angel real, but the angel can manifest within physical form. And though the angel kind of does function as the main antagonist and the one who's like whispering to everybody and like kind of becomes this personification of shame, I think the townspeople of Slater are the true antagonists, because without their weaponized morality, the level of shame that these people feel that the angel feeds upon wouldn't exist at all. This is a slow-paced plot, and it's a plot that focuses on abuse, that focuses on weaponized religion and weaponized morality, that focuses on familial relationships and friendships, and so much more. It's a very deep, emotional novel. It's kind of like walking down a foggy road at midnight, being surrounded by forests. Like, it's that feeling and that emotion that really creates the suspense, not necessarily the action. Lee absolutely nailed an eerie gothic setting within this novel. Her imagery is visceral, and it really draws on the darker side of the human psyche. I like that she took the time to really go deep into the internal thought processes of the main character, reflecting upon abuse and the ways that she herself was fallible in friendships, and how friends were fallible within her life, where she could have lent more support and where she needed more support. It's extremely immersive without being overwhelming. I especially liked, I listened to this, I didn't read it, so maybe this is part of our narrator as well, but the voice between Issa and because we do get the perspective of the angel in here, is so distinct. It was really lovely the way that it was done. I think any reader who has experienced an abusive household will immediately be drawn to Issa and to Issa's story. Issa isn't a sweet girl. She isn't forgiving. She isn't brave. She is realistically fallible, giving everything that she's gone through, but she also reflects upon herself and her character and undergoes so much personal growth within this story. I truly adored her, and I applaud Lee for creating a character who felt so authentic. And then on top of that, I feel like the secondary characters were also really fleshed out, minus Otto. Otto wasn't super fleshed out. And I especially like the relationship between Issa and her sister, Trish. My biggest critique with this novel, and what dropped to the stars, despite the fact that I've just spent so long highly praising this, comes down to the angel and the antagonist. The creature feels incomplete. And this is where I'm torn, because I think that we got everything that we're supposed to get from the angel, due to what I said earlier about how, like, the angel is the antagonist, but it feeds on the shame that has been created by the townspeople. So in my mind, the townspeople are the true antagonists. They're, the way that they weaponize their morality is the true antagonist. And then you have a creature that is feeding upon that shame that these children are feeling because they're not allowed to figure out how they identify. They're not allowed to figure out what they love, what they're passionate about, all of these different things, because if you are not the right kind of person, then you don't get to exist as a person at all in the minds of the townspeople. And so this is where the problem comes in, and I don't know how this would have been fixed, but there was so much mystery and intrigue built around who is the angel, where did the angel come from, what is the angel, like all of the questions that how did the angel come to be. And I frankly don't think those were important questions. I think the important question was, what is the role of shame within this novel? Why does this creature feed upon it, and where does it come from? That was the real question that was being asked, but in order to create this like mystery, the angel was amplified, and none of those questions got answered. And so I think it was that dilemma of where like less would have actually been so much more, because we didn't need those questions and we didn't need those answers. That's not necessarily what was killing people. This personification that the angel represented of shame is what was leading all of these people to take that final step and commit suicide. And it's this commentary upon finding peace with yourself and understanding who you are and accepting who you are and not allowing others to make you feel shame. What I think happened is that the message of the story kind of got lost a little bit, and who the true antagonist kind of got mixed up and messed up. I don't know. It's something we would have to ask the author, and it's not something that I ever would ask the author, because I've decided I don't care about those questions. I care about that personification of shame, and I think that if you remove those questions from the plot and you don't worry about them and you just look at this the way that we looked at Mike Flanagan's angel within Midnight Mass, that television series, where that angel, it didn't really matter where it came from, didn't really matter where it went at the end. All that mattered was that it was feeding upon this weaponized morality of the town. And so when I put the angel into that context within this story, if this book had been written that way, it would have been an easy 5 stars from me. But I think that there was a lot that was happening and some of the messaging got lost. And so on that note, I do think that for anybody who enjoyed Midnight Mass, this is a phenomenal read for you, because it's those same kind of concepts and ideas, but with a younger cast, with some other messaging thrown in, and then also with Chinese influences. When I think about comparisons of this novel, my mind immediately goes to Your Blood, My Bones by Kelly Andrew, and I think that this was a step up from that novel. So also, if you liked Your Blood, My Bones, I think that you will really like this and potentially like this more. I thought that the commentary on weaponized morality, specifically through religion, the commentary on how shame impacts especially a younger generation, but really all of us, is so deep and beautiful and meaningful. There was just that little hiccup of what questions should we be asking of our antagonist and who is the true antagonist. So that's why it lost points. Still highly recommend this novel.